Wish I was in the house actually go through.
Me too. These are funny.
Good Wednesday evening again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Tailgate Talk Nebraska. We are live in studio here in the Casa de Jeff Green. Thank you very much for hosting us again. Out in Colorado, wearing his Oregon hat, his Philadelphia shirt, his K-State underwear, Brian Denton is out there with us. Brian, good evening. How are you?
I'm good.
Our new panelist, Brian Cook, wearing his. He doesn't have anything.
This is a message. This is a message for Notre Dame. Cowboy up. Take your lumps. Cowboy up.
And I'm Jeff Green here with us as well. My name's Derek Long. We're going to bring you some action tonight. Normally we start college. Tonight we got a lot of college. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. We're going to kick it off in the NFL. And we're going to kick it off with a team that was looking like possibly being a contender. I'm not saying they were the team for a Super Bowl or a good playoff run, the Indianapolis Colts, and they lose Daniel Jones last week to a big injury. And now they're bringing in Philip Rivers. So the horseshoe has been turned upside down in Indianapolis, and all of that luck is running out. Guys, can Philip Rivers do this? Can he actually come back?
He hasn't played since 2020, right?
All right.
I mean, we're 5 years removed from the league.
Well,
he's old.
He might have played in 22. He might be only 3 years removed, but still, he wasn't effective in those last few years after he left San Diego or Los Angeles or wherever the hell.
So what do you think he can't throw the ball maybe 20 yards?
Maybe.
Because he was at that 20, 25 yards when he quit playing.
Yeah.
And he wasn't getting further downfield.
Now, he does only have to hand it off to Jonathan Taylor, and they can still stay in games, but I don't think Philip Rivers has what it takes to take the Colts to the promised land this year.
No.
Do you think a former Colts quarterback could have done it? Come out of retirement? Peyton Manning?
No. No. Manning would even be worse than Rivers. I mean, Peyton was good in his time, but
he wasn't good when he quit.
He's been out way too long. And Anthony Richardson, their backup or whatever, he's on the IR. I think they needed to go out and try to make a trade for maybe, and God help me for saying this, a Russell Wilson, a Justin Fields, somebody that has played recently, maybe not good, but they needed to go after somebody like that to try to salvage the year.
I'm just saying it just this situation shows you how fragile an NFL season is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they went from the darlings to everyone saying, "Oh, they're gonna make the Super Bowl." To now, wow, can they hold on enough wins to make the playoffs?
Yeah, and
one player went down.
Yeah.
But now that one player has been playing badly the last few weeks.
Yeah.
He was becoming his normal self, throwing the ball to the other team, not seeing the linebackers whatsoever. So there was writing was on the wall that was coming to an end anyway.
But I will say this: the Colts had a better chance of making the playoffs with Daniel Jones than they do with Philip Rivers.
Yes.
So
as bad as Daniel Jones is, he's still better than Philip Rivers.
Yeah. Well, for the first time since Super Bowl 50, the two Super Bowl participants from the year before have a shot at maybe not even making the playoffs this year right now with the way they're playing.
Has that ever happened where neither one made it?
Yeah, it's happened twice. Super Bowl 50 when the Broncos and Panthers met. Neither team made the playoffs the year before.
That makes sense.
And it did happen one other time too. But the Chiefs and the Eagles last year, when you were talking to people in week 15, 16, 17, 18, they were on a collision course to meet in the Super Bowl. And everybody kind of saw that coming. This year, you could pick any of these teams with the exception of the Giants to make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. Jeff, the Giants have no shot at making the playoffs.
And you call them out.
Well, just not. But Brian, you're an Eagles fan. Braden is a Chiefs fan. Braden not here with us tonight.
He's at the Husker basketball game.
Yes. And I mean, it could happen. I mean, the Cowboys did lose to the Lions last week, but
That was a good game though.
the Eagles, I would say, probably have to win the East to make the playoffs this year. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. They have to win the East. There's 3 teams coming out of the West. Period. There's going to be 3 teams coming out of the West.
Seattle Rams, and there's probably 2 coming out of the North.
Yes,
The
I
Bears,
agree with
Lions,
you.
and the Packers.
I agree with you. Philly, like I said, it was time to hit the panic button last week for me. Now it's even worse. You know, I'm hearing a lot of grumblings out of there. I still think it's coaching. How do you have that talent
Yes.
and still lose games the way you are?
The
It
number
doesn't
one
make sense.
thing that he does wrong is he keeps Hurts as his number one quarterback. I mean,
It's not the problem.
you got to improve where you can, and that's an easy
AJ
place to
Brown.
improve.
Okay, so yes, Jalen Hurts had a bad game last week. I'll admit it. He had a bad game. He had 5 turnovers.
They gave 3 weeks ago too.
You can't. No, not really. But you look at last week, AJ Brown turned the ball over twice because of the tie pass. He should have had it. That shouldn't have been out of his hands. As an elite receiver as AJ Brown is, he should have caught that ball. And then the last one in overtime popped out of his hands into the defender's hands. You can't count that on the quarterback. You just can't. But it's bad. The only reason that Philly has the wins they do is because their defense. That offense has been bad all year long.
Well,
It's
that
just
offense, the offensive line is injured too right now.
Yeah.
They're on their third guard. What's the rookie that's got injured? What's the rookie that got injured?
they don't have a rookie on the offensive line.
Well, they lost Lane Johnson.
Yeah,
They did.
He's
Lane
he's not a rookie. You're
Lane
right.
Johnson's the big one. Lane Johnson is a big miss, but look
Well,
what
Cam was
happened.
out a few games.
Right,
Cam
but
missed a
look,
few games.
at the game when they finally gave it to Barkley. Finally given it. He busted off that long run, and then they stopped giving him the ball.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Just use your offensive line and run the ball. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm gonna admit, Jalen Hurts is not the guy that you want passing 40 times a game. He's not the guy.
But Brian, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It is an old saying. And now you're going back to AJ Brown, and this all started when he started complaining, and then they're trying to throw the ball. And I would rather see Hurts throw the ball to Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, and hit Barkley out of the backfield on screens and little dump off passes. That's where Hurts is his best, when he's hitting those guys on short little passes. Hurts is not a downfield thrower.
No, he's not.
He's running back.
No, he's a play action quarterback. That is what Jalen Hurts is, and that's where he's his best. He's a play action quarterback, but they're just trying to force it to AJ Brown, and it's not working. And you can go back on several podcasts. I will tell you, I'll take Devonta Smith over AJ Brown any day. Period. I don't care that he's 175 pounds.
Now,
When
last
you
year when we
need
were
a
doing our
catch-
player of the week, you were always picking AJ Brown like 8 weeks in a row, though, Brian.
I don't remember that. But
Last year.
last year he was better. He was better last year than he is this year. But what I'm saying is Devonta Smith, when you need a big catch, is the guy. Period.
Well, let's move on to another team out of the NFC, guys, and I'll talk to you guys about this one a little bit more. The Bears lost to the Packers last week. It wasn't a blowout.
No.
It wasn't a blowout, but I think the Packers had a little bit to prove because of the way Ben Johnson was talking about the Packers.
It felt like the Packers were laying a lot down, letting them know,
Right.
We're still the team to beat. You're not going to the Super Bowl without it going through Green Bay.
Right. But they still do get Green Bay at Chicago here in a couple weeks. Green Bay has a tough game this week. They have to go out and play in Denver. That will be a tough game for Jordan Love, but Jordan Love came out and played very well last week. The Bills, it looked like for a while Joe Burrow was on fire until he decided, I'm going to throw the ball to you standing here. Here, go ahead and run it back for a touchdown.
Was that not a fun game to watch?
Oh yeah, I love snow games.
Yeah.
But the Bills still have to go to Foxborough, and New England's already beat Buffalo in Buffalo.
Yep.
So,
Who would have ever thought you?
well, the Patriots are playing good ball this year. The Chargers are still hanging around in there. I don't know how.
Well, they're cheating. We just don't know how yet. I mean, it is Jim Harbaugh.
You look at some of the other contenders, Tampa Bay, they lose to New Orleans.
You just never know what you're going to get with them. Every
I
week,
know.
it's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
You just accidentally go in there, and you might get a cherry, or you might get a lemon. You just
might
don't
get
know.
one with coconut in it.
I know this is like a broken record, but it just seems like this year you never know what's going to happen, because you had LA lose to Carolina a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
which you never saw
I mean,
happen.
we have the Houston Texans making a run. I mean,
Coaching. Again,
what is this happening? I mean, they literally were falling off the cliff and dying.
Well,
The team that's falling off the cliff is Kansas City. Kansas City's falling off the cliff and they're just nosediving. That team
last
is
year
bad.
they won how many
That
games
team is
by
bad.
2 or 3 points,
and they're losing those.
and they lost those games this year.
That game,
It's because they're distracted. I don't care what anyone says. I know this sounds like he just said, a broken record, but they're distracted. Last year they had the eye of the tiger. They won those games because they willed themselves.
the last how many years they've had that?
That's right, and they willed themselves to win those big games. Now
I think
everybody's got other things going on. They got their wrap label, their water burger. You got to make sure it's running up so I get my late night burger. Kelsey, he's got Taylor, the Taylor factor.
honestly, I think the bigger thing is this just shows how hard it is to be consistently good in the NFL. It is so hard
Well, I
to
don't know if
be
you guys
consistently good week in, week out in the NFL.
watched that game the other night in Kansas City and Houston. It was tied 10-10. Kansas City had a 4th and 1.5 yards, which they always find a play to pick up 2 yards, to pick up a first down, to keep the chains moving. And what happened? They tried to run it up the middle with Kareem Hunt and got stuffed. And from there on,
Well, he didn't make it to the line of scrimmage.
No,
I mean,
no.
he was 2 yards. He got handed the ball and he took the step and he got plowed.
But watching that game, I think it's Noah Gray, number 83, the tight end. He had 2 balls in his hand on 3rd down that would have extended drives. Mahomes put it right there where you need to, and he didn't catch it. They're not. It's
Well,
like,
even Kelsey dropped that one that kind of went around his neck.
yeah.
That was the weirdest looking thing you'd ever seen.
I mean, I honestly don't know if I put any of this right now on Mahomes. I think Mahomes is playing great ball this year. He's putting the ball where he needs to. The only one that's making plays for him, Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown right now.
Worthy's doing that. Worthy's
Honestly, to go off of that,
Worthy is too, yes.
honestly, to go off of that, Derek, if it wasn't for the first, so the first 6 games for Kansas City this year, if it wasn't Mahomes, they'd be in shambles right now. That team would be in bad
They lost
shape.
to Baltimore by a toe.
They beat them, but that was last season.
Was that last
That was
season?
the last season you were thinking of. But what I'm saying is, Mahomes was their leading rusher for the first 6 games.
Love that play.
But the other thing that Kansas City is not doing this year that they did last year, and I will say this, Chris Jones came out the other night and said, I want to win this game, and he was playing good. They're not turning the ball over. They are not turning teams over right now, and they're not getting those takeaways that they have been known to do on defense. And that's the linebackers and the defensive backs right there, because the D line's getting pressure. they're getting pressure, but they're not getting anything else. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree.
I do. I feel like the defense is playing well enough to win games.
But-
I think the offense isn't playing team ball.
Right.
Actually, if to agree with Jeff, Kansas City and Philly are in the same boat. The defense is playing well enough to win games. It's the offense that's not playing well enough to win games.
Yeah. And they're not, and for the same reasons. They're not playing as a team. They got squeaky wheels, and they're expecting things to just happen.
Yeah.
That goes back to coaching. Offensive coordinators. Who are your offensive coordinators for both teams? Matt Nagy, really? Really? You really think they're going with Matt Nagy? Philadelphia, they can't decide who their offensive coordinator is. Whoever is calling plays there is terrible. Even Houston, my team, has a bad offensive coordinator, but defense wins championships.
They got an Ohio State quarterback. That's why they'll.
That was not their problem.
It's offensive coordinator. It's coaching. Brian,
Well-
you mentioned it before. Coaching.
Here's the thing though. Both of those teams that we were talking about there, Kansas City and Philadelphia, there's 4 weeks left in the season. Neither one are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
No.
They both have a long road to hoe, but neither one are mathematically eliminated. And both teams do know one thing, how to win in playoffs. And especially Kansas City.
I don't see it this year.
No, I'm not saying I see it. I'm just saying you get them to the playoffs, it could be a different team you see coming out when they
Well-
come out.
Even though Philly's struggling and they're on a nosedive, they're still the third seed in the NFC.
Right now.
Even with losing three straight.
Yeah.
Honestly, if that team falls out of the playoffs, you gotta do something. Sirianni's either got to be gone or something.
Yeah.
Like it's sad to say because Sirianni has had out of his first 5 seasons or 6 seasons, whatever it is, he's the most winningest coach in NFL history. Like, but how do you let that talent dive like that? That's all coaching, Brian Cook. It is
Yep.
all coaching.
No discipline. That's where the coaches come in. Apply discipline to your team. He let AJ Brown just mouth off, and he just got the cancer. You got to stop that cancer before it infects other players. Sirianni did not do that. Lack of coaching.
We spent enough time on the losers in the league that are finding their way to the bottom. Let's talk about the teams that have that eye of the tiger this year. The Chargers, New England, Denver. Those 3 teams, they came out in
Chicago.
Chicago, Houston.
Those teams are going on the field
Buffalo.
expecting to win.
Yeah.
You know, Buffalo's still Buffalo. They're the same team they've been the last 3 years. And I assume they will choke in the playoffs as they have the last 3 years. But what the other guys, they're going out on the field, they're expecting to win, they're expecting to dominate.
Yeah.
And the Lions are coming on strong. They kind of had a lull, and now, well, they're right back where they're.
Well, you got
And that's coaching.
You got to look at 2
Love
other
it.
teams that have that right now. The Rams and the Seahawks both have that too.
Yes.
The Niners do. I think the Niners still have a lot of injuries they got to figure out yet.
The Niners seem to be just kind of silently moving themselves forward.
There is a team right now that is becoming very dangerous, and I don't know if anybody really wants to play them. They're not up here right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are on a roll right now. They have overtaken everybody for the top spot in the NFC or the AFC South.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence is actually playing very good football right
And their
now.
defense is
Well,
Around.
coming around.
Yeah,
I mean,
Josh
what?
Hines Allen is one of the best defensive players in the league right now. And
They get a lot of pressure.
they do. And, you know, I think teams are lucky though, because I think the team that would be sitting atop the standings as we are going to transition out of the NFL right now into the NCAA. But I think one team that they're lucky, they didn't put this guy at the helm right away, or they would be one of the top teams, is Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns.
Jesus.
Jeff, I said that just for you.
Oh my
Lucky.
God. That's the bullshit bell.
We have 4 weeks left in the NFL. Anything can happen, and this season, really, anything has happened. So we're gonna just kind of see how this all plays out. But right now, we are going to jump into the best time of the year. It is bowl season. It is college football. I'm gonna start things off right now, though, guys. Another high-profile NCAA job opened up today because Mr. Sharon Moore in Michigan decided to pull a Scott Frost and went partying with Urban Meyer. And
He joined us, an elite group of people.
He did. But I love how they put it out. Inappropriate conduct is how they released it out to him. But I believe he got a co-ed pregnant.
That's the rumors that
Yeah.
are floating around. And that co-ed's not even 18.
Yeah,
That she's an underclassman.
yes. So, guys, Michigan's job has now opened up. Now we're going to go through this whole cycle. Penn State got their guy finally. They got Matt Campbell.
Good hire.
Other teams, but
I
man,
don't think so. I like Matt Campbell, but I don't think
was a
he's
good hire for Penn State.
I don't think he's a good one.
who's Michigan going to look at now?
You gotta look at alumni. They only hire former players as their coaches.
So Tom Brady.
Not true.
Maybe Tom Brady comes out of retirement.
Oh, stop it.
I don't know. We have former Michigan player that takes that job. Maybe Harbaugh goes back to the pros, back to college. Now that his name's cleared.
Harbaugh's name ain't cleared. He's got a Netflix series that says you're a cheater.
I don't know, Brian. What's your thoughts? Yeah, are they gonna be able to make a big splash now that
we have to turn to Brian, the Michigan fan.
I'm not a Michigan
You
fan.
are a Michigan fan. You always have been.
Brian, you are a Michigan fan like that's an Ohio State fan.
Oh, that is horseshit.
I've heard grumblings. I've heard grumblings about Brian Kelly. I think that's stupid. I don't think that would be a smart hire at all. Honestly, I think the guy that's been thrown out there a couple times, I think John Gruden would be a good hire at Michigan. He wants to go back to college football, or he wants to go to college football. They were talking about him for the LSU job. It sounds like the Giants have their guy now, so that eliminates him from that conversation.
Who's the guy?
Notre Dame's coach.
Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the Giants?
That's what
Yep.
the rumors have been spreading around.
Oh, what a horrible rumor.
He's not bad.
That's
We got a great coach.
Everything about
Honestly-
Notre Dame, he may be the only positive they have left is their coach, and he's gonna go
Now,
Giants.
so honestly though, if you look at Michigan, if you're coming off of John Gruden or the Jim Harbaugh days, you had the Morris days. John Gruden makes sense. He's the splash hire, honestly.
Or I heard something today. The offensive coordinator from Ohio State, Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly, really?
Chip Kelly's a door Oregon.
Chip Kelly was at Oakland and got fired.
Okay, who's the OC of Ohio State now?
That I don't even know.
I can't remember.
Ryan Day gets all the attention.
He was the guy that led them to the national title last year, not Ryan Day. I can't remember his name now.
No,
But
that would be a better hire because we don't know him. We don't Michigan anyone good.
so
It'd be very disappointing if they get Gruden.
the CFP is upon us. The 12 teams are picked. And I think I think the committee did a great job. I really do. The only team that I thought got snubbed was BYU.
Because of the wording and the rules of how they have to pick it,
Mhm.
they did a great job.
Right.
But as a whole, and taking the rules into judgment also,
Right.
we should not have a James Madison and a Tulane.
One or the other.
One or the other should be in there. And yes, that might have gave Notre Dame their way in, but or BYU their way in. But both of those teams deserved it more than James Madison. I mean, let's
Honestly,
be real. Tulane might be able to hold their own. I'm not saying they're going to win a game. I'm just saying they might be able to hold their own. James Madison don't have a chance in hell, and it don't matter where you stick them on that up and down list. Yes, they pulled Oregon, who's going to roll all over them, but so would Bama, so would OU, so would Ole Miss,
A&M,
A&M,
Miami.
Miami most likely will roll all over them too. I mean that they should be in there.
Yeah.
That's a wasted spot.
honestly, I don't think they got it right. I really don't. The reason I say that is like Jeff said, according to the rules that they have labeled out, there should only be one of either Tulane or James Madison in.
Right.
Period. But they also said that they weren't going to penalize teams for the conference championship game, right?
BYU got penalized.
Penalized to no end. BYU did.
Not really.
They got penalized.
Jeff,
Big 12 was only pushing for one.
BYU's only 2 losses are to Texas A&M.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Or sorry, Texas Tech. Sorry, Texas Tech. Alabama lost just as much as BYU did, and they have 3 losses. Why are they in? But they didn't move a spot. They didn't even move one spot. Okay? There's something wrong there.
Well,
I'm not saying that Notre Dame should be in. I do not agree with Notre Dame being in.
I'm not saying BYU should be in. I do agree with Bama being in. I absolutely agree with Bama being in. They played the SEC is such a better conference from top to bottom, week in, week out, than the Big 12 or the ACC.
What I'm saying though, Jeff, is
the teams in the SEC went through the grinder. BYU
I
only
agree
lost
with you.
to the same team because that's the only team they played that was any good.
But that team is also steamrolled everybody. Texas Tech has steamrolled everybody except for the one game that they lost and they didn't have their starting quarterback.
Right.
Texas Tech is being very underrated right now. Very underrated.
Are they being underrated?
But
they're 4 overall seed.
Well,
but nobody's really giving them a shot. Do you think anybody's
Georgia?
really?
No, he's
What is that?
giving them a shot to go out past Oregon.
No, nobody's giving them a shot.
Texas Tech will be favored in that Oregon.
Hold on. But what I'm saying though is BYU has the better losses than Bama does.
No.
So here's
Bama lost to Florida State. They lost to Florida State.
I will say this.
Talk about wins. You got to talk about what they did right. Not, good losses. When did the world come to good losses? There's no such thing as a good.
When there's three involved, and they
Florida
lost.
State or Ohio State. That's a loss.
They lost to Florida State, and they have 3 losses. You said at the beginning of the hold on,
the extra game.
Hold on.
If they wouldn't play, only have 1 loss if they didn't play their.
And they still wouldn't have been in my opinion, because they would still be second in the Big 12. If the Big
I'm
12
sorry,
didn't
but
play a championship game, BYU still would have been left out.
I'm sorry, but I think Bama should be out, and either BYU or Notre Dame should be in.
Now,
I don't agree with Bama being in.
I'm going to throw this to you guys. I think Bama and BYU both deserve to be in over Miami. If you want to talk about wins, losses, and all that, they take Miami in as an ACC team,
which didn't win a championship, which bothers me.
Play in a championship,
Right, which bothers me. Well, they didn't play it, but they didn't win it.
Right.
So they're the ACC lone.
But you don't have to take a team from the ACC.
You know,
Miami got in as a wild card. You don't have to take it. If the champion of
okay, then there's the argument.
right,
Absolutely,
I think
BYU
should be in
and
over Miami.
see now there's an argument that I'll dig my teeth into, and I was
but also when it comes down to Notre Dame and Miami, you have to take the head to head in that count.
absolutely.
Miami beat them. Period.
I think Miami should be in over Notre Dame, yes. But I think Bama and BYU should have been in over Miami.
Notre Dame
Because I
should
don't
not be allowed to be in the championship of playoffs until they join a conference.
but
100% fully joined.
here's my problem with this. Notre Dame is in a conference in all other sports, 18 other sports. They are in the ACC.
Yep.
And now their athletic director is complaining because he said, but I don't think the ACC has to have a representative in this, do they?
They do not. No. I don't think so.
So one thing though is if Notre Dame would have been in the ACC, they would have been in that ACC championship game.
Right. And they would have probably won it
So-
if they would have been in this.
Exactly. So Notre Dame needs to shut up,
Yep.
play
Yeah.
football, and just
I
accept
heard
what they
rumor
got.
that Notre Dame doesn't want to be part of the ACC. If they're going to join, they're going to join the Big Ten.
Well, they got to take all their sports to the Big Ten.
That's right.
Right.
And that's such a big taking that's why it hasn't happened yet.
Well, we'll come back to the playoffs, but guys, I want to talk about something else now that we're bringing Notre Dame up. I think, in my opinion, Notre Dame, K-State, Iowa State, these teams that were bowl eligible that declined to go to a bowl should get a penalty of not being bowl eligible, college football playoff eligible for 3 years.
Absolutely. And how do you tell the kids that you don't get to play in a bowl game?
Well,
I mean, that's their reward for what they did all year long.
and it's not just the kids, but what about all of the fans that spend the money to go to these games, that pay for these tickets,
Yeah.
that give booster money to these schools, that
Pay that
pay
NIL
for
money.
parking, pay the NIL money, and now K-State and Iowa State both have to pay $500,000 to the Big 12
For not going.
for not going. Now, Iowa State lost their head coach, Matt Campbell. Boom, he leaves. He goes to Penn State,
K-State lost their head coach.
but he retired. He didn't take another coaching job.
Which means
He could have coached
could've
one
coached
more
the
game.
bowl.
He could have coached one more game. So even though he was retiring, he could have coached one more game. Now I will give some leniency to these teams that were 5 and 7 that they did offer to afterwards, because you finish your season 2 weeks prior, you finish with 5 wins, you're not bowl eligible.
That's right, you're out.
And so these kids are probably making their plane tickets. They're getting ready to
they're going-
leave after the semester.
Right, they're going home to visit their family.
They are getting all of this stuff organized at that point in time, and now all of a sudden 2 weeks later,
And they
the
weren't practicing.
NCAA, they weren't practicing. The NCAA comes to them and says, "Hey guys, these other teams declined to go to bowl games. We're offering it to you now," and these coaches are scrambling because they've checked in equipment. They've done all of the end of the season stuff at that point in time, and now all of a sudden they're like, "Well,
Well, it's crazy. Everybody was complaining 2 years ago when players were opting out. And my solution is I think NIL money is a contract for the year, and it should include any postseason play. And they should lose 30 to 40% of their NIL bid if they don't play in the bowl game, if they lock out. I think that would solve that. But now you got the schools opting out because they don't want to do it.
right."
And you can't complain about the players doing it if the schools are going to do it.
I honestly, as like looking at this and seeing how this year's went, as major marquee teams that have done it, I think you're seeing the end of the bowl era. I honestly think eventually it's going to come down to where They
here's the
either
reason why.
need to.
Go ahead.
I don't know if he froze up.
He did.
Okay. My
No,
thing,
I didn't. I'm waiting for you.
well, are you there? You froze on us,
Yeah,
Brian.
I'm here.
Okay,
Okay, I'm here.
these companies that sponsor these bowl games are spending millions of dollars to sponsor these bowl games.
Yep.
And it is a way for them to market their product, even if it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl or whatever it is, the new era Pinstripe Bowl. How many commercials do they get advertising? And they know they're going to get a share of, they're going to get people watching them, and people are going to spend money, and people are going to see them, and they're going to be like, oh man, we haven't had Pop-Tarts for a while, Jeff. Let's go get us some Pop-Tarts.
It happens.
We can make Brian put them in the toaster. He might be smart enough to do
And-
that.
but they also know that football is the #1 watched sport.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. We're on a Saturday. Nothing's going on. I'm bored. I'm flipping around. I see Western Kentucky playing Iowa State. I'm going to stop.
Right.
I'm going to hang out.
I think what you're going to see, though, the NCAA is going to go away from you have to have semifinals to be bowl eligible, which sucks because that means that you're not really playing the regular season for anything. But I think what they're going to do
You are.
is they're gonna take away the conference ties
Yes.
from these bowl games.
So that the Pop Tart Bowl can say, what would be cool is if we had UCLA versus Stanford,
Right.
for a regional matchup.
Well,
or
you
something.
could do that
On
now
it-
because of conference.
I'm just saying, but
Yeah.
Honestly-
Okay.
Honestly, I see it going the opposite way. I see them cutting out bowl games because honestly, let's be real. There's too many bowl games. There's too many. What I see happening is that them cutting out bowl games. And honestly, Jeff, you know how you say that Texas was the reason that the Big 12 imploded, all this stuff.
Absolutely. And there was a reason the Southwest Conference imploded.
Notre Dame is going to be the reason that the bowl games are gone, in my opinion.
They're not going to give the Catholics that much power.
Like I said, Brian, I
Yep,
think what's
I
gonna
disagree.
happen out of this, all of this is, let's just say next year, Notre Dame finishes 11-1. I think the committee is gonna look and say, well, you know what, you guys decided you didn't want to play in anything next year.
So you
I
don't
don't know if you're gonna get in this
Yeah.
year, and I think.
I think the committee needs to keep punishing them for what they do and who they are.
But also, I think these other teams that have opted out that were bowl eligible. I'm not going to put anything on teams that weren't bowl eligible because
No,
that's
they didn't know.
that's like when Brian was in high school and these girls were asking other people to go to prom with them, and then all of a sudden the prom was 2 days away, and they're like, Brian, do you have a prom date? No. So they got him. It was the last resort.
It worked.
Yeah, I know. I love you, man.
Damn.
You can't blame those teams for not
That
being
was
able to
the
go
global-
because they have always had, they've already had their check-in. They've already had, these kids getting ready to leave for the semester.
I agree. You can't blame them, but the teams that are ready to go and knew that they were eligible, what they need to do is though the problem with the bowl games is, for example, you got Iowa State playing Western Kentucky,
Right.
right? I know that game's not happening, but just for example, no one cared about Western Kentucky except that small little area around Western Kentucky.
Right.
The bowls need to be able to make marquee matchups.
Yeah.
Not necessarily even matchups, but
Well,
big names.
let's just look at it this way.
Because you take a Husker team, we travel.
Yep.
And we go to the Pinstripe Bowl. We go to the Alamo Bowl. Some of my best memories are at some of the shittier bowls. Then I followed Nebraska too. You know, I mean,
Well, let's just say Penn State would not have become bowl eligible this year. And the committees would have been able to say, you know what, we really like Penn State. They bring fans, they do this, they're a marquee team. They've been around for, they've been relevant. Let's bring them in.
well, Zach is agreeing with me. There should be a rule where the teams can't opt out of a bowl game without excruciating reasons.
Well, a 3-year ban.
Like 3-year ban
I
would be
think it
great.
should be
Put
a
a rule
3-year
like
ban.
that. Zach goes on to say, Brian, you'd make a darn good prom date for anybody.
I love you, Zach. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. You the man.
Honestly, Jeff, I'm going to get back on track here real quick. Jeff, we've talked about this
Yes,
in detail.
many times.
The NCAA is eventually going to be out, in my opinion, and it's going to
I
be
agree.
2 major conferences, right? We're thinking 2 or 3 major conferences, right?
And I think they're gonna kick out anyone that's not in. There's
Right.
not gonna be non-conference games that don't play, that aren't SEC or Big Ten.
Is this the next step
It is.
to that happening?
It's
I
a
agree
long
with
step.
you.
It's not the
It's
right.
monopolization. It goes against what this country
No,
stands
it
for.
does not.
You're
Absolutely does
monopolizing the
not.
sport.
You're protecting the sport by doing this.
You're monopolizing
On
it.
it,
Monopolizing.
honestly, I see it as the next step to it being the Big Ten, the SEC, and one other conference, and then there's
I don't
going to be
think one of those
another
conferences
division.
gonna make it. They're gonna absorb it by going to 20 teams in each, so it'll be 40 teams represented from coast to coast.
How about this, guys? And I broke this down and I've actually got it at home. You get rid of all conferences for football. And you break the United States up into 16 regions.
16?
16 regions, okay? It puts 8 to 9 teams in each region. You play your region. Best record out of each region goes to the college football playoff. You have a 16-team
Yeah,
playoff.
but you're gonna have some of the regions, basically the WAC,
No,
where you got San Diego State, Cal,
okay, think about this though. Up in the Pacific Northwest, you got Oregon,
yeah,
Washington,
Oregon State,
Oregon State, Boise State. Not saying Boise State is whatever, but this could change recruiting
Do we
as
really
well.
want to allow the blue field back out there?
You come down, you've got USC, Arizona State, few teams there.
UCLA.
UCLA, you've got your Texas A&M, Baylor, SMU down in the Texas area. You've got your Nebraska, Iowa State, Kansas State in the midsection. You've got your Ohio States, you've got your Penn State on the east, you've got your Miami teams, you've got your South teams.
So would you have cross play?
You would have, because you would have 7 to 8 regional games every year. So you would be able to schedule 3 other games. So you limit the college football season to either a 10 or 11 game regular season. Then you would have your 16 team playoff, which means you would have 16 cut down to 8, cut down to 4, cut down to 2.
Yeah, but wait, now you got your 16 teams, one from each region.
Yeah.
That's not gonna fly.
What?
Well, because you're gonna have Bama, Georgia,
They're
they're
not in
over.
the same region.
You're gonna have a region that's heavy,
You are.
and they're only gonna send one, and you're gonna let San Diego State in, or New Mexico Lobos in because they want
Honestly,
their little itty bitty conference division.
But if you look at how I've got it broke down, there are good teams in every single
I'm
region.
just saying,
I'm
Really
saying
go here.
you can break it down to where you can put good teams in every region
but
across.
a lot of those smaller teams aren't part of the FCS because they're not willing to spend the money to be part of it. They have 20,000.
This is only taking FCS teams that are in the FCS right now. There's 134.
34, yeah.
So if you do it this way, then you're
60.
basically running it like the NFL, and you're taking your best team out of each one.
So I think 40 is a good number.
Jeff.
334 of them. I think we
Well,
narrow it down and let the cream
But it
come to
will.
the top.
It will come to the top. Because if you go with your two power conferences, you got a 20-team Big Ten, 20-team SEC.
Yep.
Okay. Now, how many teams are you taking to the playoffs?
Well, that's probably 8 from each side.
So you're going to go 16, right? You're
Yeah.
going to take 8 from each side. So now you're going to run into, let's just
They have
say,
wild cards, but there's no committee picking them because now it's like the NFL. You got a schedule. You got a schedule you have to play.
but you're not
And
going to
there's
take 19
there's-
regular season
there's-
games.
there's set up. No, but there'll still be in place tiebreakers.
Right, but what I'm saying is, let's just say that you've got Ohio State up here, and out of, say they play 12 games in the regular season,
Okay.
but the 12 games they play out of those 20 teams are against cupcakes.
See, you take 20 and 20, right? You
Yeah.
split each side up into four divisions inside the conference.
5 teams,
So 5 teams each.
okay,
And then you have cross pollination
right,
playing, and you have 2 weeks that are set to playing on the opposite conference.
okay. But again, you're setting these games up, and it's gonna be, a random schedule every year, but let's just
Not
say,
necessarily the NFL schedule, that's not random.
no, but
That's not random.
you're playing the best team. So like in the NFL, Kansas City has to play the number 1 team from the year
Correct.
before out of the AFC East, AFC South.
Giving
and
the
AFC
teams that
North.
are struggling time to build and
Okay, so you're saying that you're gonna take Ohio State and they gotta play the top teams out of each of those
absolutely
the next year.
correct.
Yeah, Ohio State wouldn't be able to do what they did this year and play cupcake teams all the way through.
Correct. We wouldn't have that shit. And we wouldn't have the argument about Bama, like the Bama thing. Wouldn't be an argument.
Okay. Now you're talking 40 teams, right?
40
So
teams.
each conference gets 20 teams, right?
Yep.
So are you gonna kick some teams out of the Big Ten that are
Absolutely.
now and some teams out of the
Absolutely.
SEC that are in there?
Absolutely.
How do you decide that?
Well, first of all, there's money's going to be involved. We have to have a cap. You can't just be spending whatever the fuck you want on NIL. You just can't go out there. I mean, the next step we're sitting at 35 to 40 million on your top tier teams right now. That's obviously not going to be enough next year. And Ohio State's going to go out and spend 45. Georgia's going to go spend 45. You can't allow that to keep happening.
Right?
You just can't. You got to put a cap on
I
it.
agree with that.
Therefore, you got to put a minimum cap on it. To be part of this league, you have to be willing as a university to spend $30 million. You can't come in here and spend $15 million, take all the perks and be part of this league and not compete.
Okay.
And once you put that cap, that 30 million,
Honestly,
Rutgers and UConn, they'll drop out on their own. You won't have to kick them out. They're like, no, I'm not spending $30 million to go watch our ass get kicked. We're not doing it.
Keep on the basketball power.
That's right. And that's what they want to do anyway. And the teams will find their own way, their own ass out when you start putting minimum spending.
But if you're doing this with these 20 teams,
Yeah.
does that carry over to basketball? Does
No.
that carry over to baseball?
No.
Does that carry
No.
over to that?
Football will become its own entity. Its own entity. It has to. Otherwise, we're going to lose the pageantry. We're going to lose college football.
Now, right
We
now,
lost it already.
Yeah, we can
And
save it.
NIL and transfer portal. We lost college football, but folks, I'm telling you right now, it's not like it used to be.
It is not like it used to
Where
be.
the Rose Bowl meant something, the Orange Bowl,
And it will never,
Fiesta Bowl.
it will never be that way again.
You're trying to justify what I've been saying about fullbacks. It'll never be that way again.
It will never
Can
be that
be.
way.
now
It
see,
won't.
I agree that the NCAA has to do something, but if you're looking at 20 teams, there's what, 18 in the Big Ten right now, right?
I think that's correct.
18 teams in the Big
Yes.
Ten right now. So a Maryland probably would be out. A Rutgers,
Northwestern,
Northwestern,
they're not going to be willing to spend the money.
right? Okay,
Go down to the SEC. Kentucky doesn't want to play football.
right.
Not at $30 million a year.
Okay.
Vanderbilt, I know that they're coming on strong, but would they? Would they be willing to spend the 30 mil? You never know how that one.
But what I'm saying is, you take those three teams: Maryland, Rutgers, Northwestern,
Yep.
Purdue.
Right for two might pay.
Okay,
Purdue's out.
Indiana went to
Purdue's
2
out.
years ago, but I bet they're in now.
what's that, Brian?
I think out of the Big Ten, you got Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, Rutgers are all out for sure.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think Illinois is on the cusp.
I think so too.
Honestly.
because they what
Like,
45,000 people is
and-
listening to their stands.
And then and then you're going to input a Notre Dame. You're going to input I don't know. It could be anybody at this point because it doesn't matter a region at this point.
Right, we're not looking at regions, and there's a lot of teams out there that are willing to spend that money that'll jump in the ring. You may see the reemergence of Kansas,
Okay.
or
But now, I mean, if you go to just 20 teams up there, and say you take 6 away, that puts 12 there in the Big Ten right now. So you're gonna have to fill 8 spots, right?
they'll fill themselves.
Okay, and then down in the south,
South, they just had
Well,
they're gonna collect the
you know, Miami,
They're not gonna. They're
Florida
not,
State will spend the money.
absolutely.
Texas Tech is showing they'll spend the money.
Absolutely.
Baylor will spend the money.
Yep.
Virginia will spend the money. So
Which means they may have to move some teams to the Big Ten out of the SEC to stay regional.
I just think 20, I think 40
Maybe
teams.
24 then. I mean, whatever the magic number is. But you got to keep it to where parity's a part of it. You start putting too many teams in, and there's no parity. I mean, why play?
Honestly, it's gonna turn into a farm system for the NFL. That's what it's gonna turn into. I know it's already
No, not as
somewhat
long
that.
as we
But
have
what you're gonna have happen.
When you start letting the NFL teams represent the coach, like for example, let's say San Francisco comes to Oregon and says, "Hey, we're gonna supply all the money, everything, and that's how you become a farm system." Yeah, you can't allow them in. Can't allow them in, and you have the same rules. You can't have an agent. Now,
It might happen.
that would be the end of college football.
Now,
It's already over.
this is what I love doing,
I
Brian.
disagree.
I love rebutting Jeff on this. Okay. Besides bowl season, what in college sports is your next favorite time of the year?
NCAA 6.
March Madness.
March Madness.
So, what is one of the great things about March Madness in the first few rounds?
Okay, but here's the difference. That's a 15-person team,
Mm-hmm.
not 85.
Right. But the upsets.
The upsets, but
They love it.
those upsets happen on a 15-person team.
Milan, Indiana. Greatest upset ever.
Xavier,
You're fine. resist that.
Xavier, I mean, your small basketball schools can make a difference, but they're only fielding 15 kids.
Okay.
That's how that happens. That's how Butler takes out of Kansas.
Or Loyola Chicago.
Bucknell.
Or that's how that shit happened. Now, if
Bucknell.
you had the 85, I mean, Appalachian State's the hugest thing that ever happened in that, and that probably should have never happened, but it did.
When they beat Michigan.
Absolutely.
That was not the greatest upset of football. I'll go back to a bowl game, which I've highlighted bowl games here. Choklahoma lost to
Boise
Boise State. And I'll never forget that.
And
That's a
that was-
memory that
it's
should not be
right.
erased.
It shouldn't, because you had this. They were playing schoolyard ball. They played the Statue of Liberty play.
That's what makes it so important to have teams in like James Madison.
Yeah.
And with
No,
I'm gonna go
Toledo.
back even.
because
a little-
Boise State. Are you sure they would spend the money to be in?
I'm gonna go back a little bit deeper even. The Actress beating Omaha Grove.
The
in
highest
double
scoring
overtime.
game. Yes.
63-62, final score. It was great. The color guy on that radio call was
Yeah.
excellent. The play-by-play guy stopped. But we got through it.
Wow.
Now let's.
That hurts. He hit below the belt there.
Now they were both great. Anyway, and by the way, we do have another viewer that joined in with us, and I would love to say hello to him. And that is the head coach of the state champions in Division II 8-man down in Kansas, Matt Hoyer. If you're watching tonight, congratulations, man. I was loving it to see you guys get by Axtell again. Axtell had went on a 4-year run. Hanover back on top down in Kansas. And my old high school actually made it to the quarterfinals, and then Hanover beat the hell out of them. So congratulations, Matt Hoyer, if you are watching, and the Hanover team. Great job this year. And I know Corey Jensen and the basketball team, they're going to be looking to do the same thing again.
If you're gonna throw out a plug, I want to throw out a plug. I got the best service I ever had. I know this is, and this goes with Jeff here. Zellner Ford. I can't say enough about them. I went and changed my oil. They went beyond that with service, sales. I tell you what, my friends at Zellner Ford, I told you I'd plug you tonight. Thank you for all the great representative taking care of me, even when you don't have to. And it's great to have friends like that who will take care of you.
And as an employee, as old friend, I want to point out we are a family. Jason, our owner, is a great guy to work for. He's fun, he's energetic, and he is a sports guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the biggest Husker homer I have ever met, and I thought I was that guy. And then I met him, and even when I doubt, he don't. I mean, I find a way by game time to convince myself we're gonna win every game.
That unit you got out there is a team.
He knows
Jeff.
all that
Jeff.
we're gonna win.
Jeff, you lost the homerism when we found out you're an Ohio State homer.
I'm not an Ohio State problem.
Well,
That's just, they're the best team out there
two
this
things I
year.
want to bring up as we are ending. The first one is going to be, Brian, I wish you could bring a clip up from last week where somebody said Ohio State was going to win by 2 scores or more
Yeah,
in the Big Ten championship game. The rest of us, some of us were saying, no, I believe Indiana's going to win that game.
I called it.
Included, you picked Ohio
Ohio
State.
State.
let's break that game down. Let's talk about it
Okay.
because it was a great game.
Indiana's defense is for real.
Absolutely for real.
Yeah.
You play that game again? Do they stop him on that 4th down?
Maybe not.
Does he miss the field goal?
One of Indiana's
I-
field goal.
Just
early in the
saying
game, too.
that game happened again. I will have a lot more respect for Indiana. But I still don't pick against Ohio State.
I don't think Indiana will win the national title,
Well, after that game,
but I don't
They're
think
good.
Ohio State's going to win the national title.
I didn't give Indiana the props of being so great. I mean, they did not let the stars of Ohio State
No.
flock to
Brian's
their
already got his choice about who's going to win the national championship.
Yeah,
Not
whatever.
gonna happen.
I,
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
after watching games last week, the one team that I think looked really good was Georgia.
Georgia looked very good.
Their defense looked strong. Their offense looked good.
They were never pushed. They don't look nervous.
No,
Uh,
and they made Ty Simpson look bad.
now, again, Ohio State hadn't been pushed all year.
But they hadn't played anybody
well-
besides Texas.
When they
who
killed
is
Texas. Just saying, they killed Texas.
I'm just saying, that was their only big game until they played Indiana.
And the
Yes.
Indiana game, like I said, Indiana showed me things that I didn't Believe me.
Honestly, I was not a believer in Indiana up until
So
they
they
beat
came into
Oregon.
Oregon and whooped you?
Okay, hold on. But is there ever been a better 2-year hire than Signetti in Indiana?
That's the reason why. That coach there makes
No.
all the difference in the world.
You know,
And
Yeah.
you know what?
He's the next Bobby Knight of Indiana.
Did you see him? He's an old school coach.
Yes.
He's staying put.
Mhm.
He's not going for the money. He's not going to the big stadium. Indiana said to him, "Hey, we'll pay you what you want. What do you need?" And he said, "I'm home." And you got to hand it to him.
I like
As cocky as he is, give it to him.
I like
well, when he came into the basketball game that night, when he first got hired there, he said, we're changing the culture here. Indiana football will be on the map
Yep.
right away. And, you know, when
He said,
2 years.
"It win everywhere I go. Google me."
when he brought his transfers in, they came in from James Madison.
Yeah.
They didn't come in
Now,
from
wait a
Penn
minute.
State.
Now they were super seniors. The majority of them were super
They were.
seniors. Those were 6-year players that played together for 4 or 5 years.
But they were 2 and 3 star
They
recruits
were.
coming out of college. Probably 1 to 2 star recruits coming out of
I'm
college.
just saying, they were people no one wanted.
Right. They
Yeah.
weren't the big names. But that's
yeah.
who he's winning with.
Well, not this year.
Mendoza wasn't that good last year at UCLA. And that's where he was, right? UCLA? Yeah. They bring him
Yeah.
in. He's probably going to win the Heisman.
He's
Hey,
good with the Heisman.
He went out and he upgraded.
Mhm.
He went in the portal. He
Honest, my 2 big takeaways from last weekend, like, because there were some big things that happened last weekend. Like, for a guy to go from high school football to taking Texas Tech to a Big 12 championship and the playoff,
well,
and they're not,
the playoffs are
they're-
looking like
they're-
yeah.
but they're just throwing money to him. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's.
They are.
He,
But now, what's going to happen when Oregon comes calling?
Mhm.
I mean, Texas Tech ain't played anybody like that. They haven't played anybody like that. I mean, you guys are.
I'm
solid
honestly
defense.
picking
You
that.
got a solid
right?
offense. You're not great at anything, but you're solid all the way around. Texas Tech hadn't played that.
Mhm.
But to say
they played a good.
what
run
I'm
defense.
saying,
They played a good.
what I'm
pass
saying though is to see 2 teams that haven't won a conference championship since the 60s and
Yeah.
50s in the playoff is nice to see. I like seeing it.
And that's what this was supposed to be. It was supposed to bring other teams
Mhm.
that are good. You know, when we were down, when we only had 4 teams going to play in the playoffs, we had no idea. We didn't have the best 4 teams out there. We had the best 4 teams that we thought were the best 4 teams.
Yeah.
Because Texas Tech didn't have a chance to get in that 4-team playoff. And then when they did let an outsider in, TCU went in there and hit a jigsaw or a buzzsaw. It just this was what we needed.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Well, now the last thing I would like to hit on here tonight, Emmett Johnson declaring for the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Will not play in the bowl game against Utah.
No.
Wouldn't matter
That's
anyway.
gonna kill Nebraska's
Wouldn't matter
offense
anyway.
right there.
Wouldn't matter anyway. Would not have mattered anyway.
Because we can't stop the run.
Right.
Therefore, we can't stop Utah. Utah is going to make that a 6-possession game, and they're going to score 4 or 5 of them, and they're going to beat us 28-10, 28-7,
Now,
28-6, something like that.
Donovan Raiola fired.
Could be worse.
The offensive line coach from Georgia Tech, who is good. Very good.
Very good hire.
Now, my question is, with this, is Dylan going?
No, Dylan already said he's not going.
He's going, folks.
He's not going.
When did he say he wasn't going?
Was it Monday? It was Monday night.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Monday night he was talking about how he's here for the count. He's here with Holgerson. They're gonna do great things here.
Going
And
to
he's gonna be
Missouri.
still part of it.
Mhm.
Going to Missouri.
Missouri?
He's not going to
Going to
Missouri.
be closer to his
What?
twin brother NFL players, trainers there. I've heard through the grapevine that he's going to Missouri to be closer to Kansas City and to Patrick Mahomes' own personal trainers. If you're the same thing, Brian,
They play Columbia.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not close.
I
We're three and a
did
half hours
hear
away.
that.
Columbia is what? 3 hours away. They're not closer.
I did hear because I did hear that he is possibly going to go to Missouri because the coach there trains Mahomes in the offseason.
I don't see the point. It's three. Columbia's 3 hours away from Kansas City, just like we're 3.5 hours away.
closer to being with his buddies, Patrick Mahomes.
A half hour?
Dylan,
Does that make it?
you're doing Patrick Mahomes.
I got another
I'm not
point.
going nowhere.
I got
And
another
even
point.
if it does, well, we have Latif, and then we got the big boy coming in next year,
If he wants to be that goddamn close, go to KU.
I got another point.
right?
I got another point. Missouri's a better program than Nebraska. So yes, I would go there too.
Missouri's not a better program. Missouri is in a better spot right now. They're not a better program. Jesus Christ, we're a blue blood. Don't you fucking forget it.
We were a blue blood.
No, we are.
Since
We
when?
don't lose being a blue blood.
We need to have a moment of silence for Nebraska. 28 years ago, we stopped being a blue blood. You know what happened 28 years ago? Uh-oh. What happened today? 28 years, we've lost our appeal. What happened 28 years ago, Jeff?
Bo Pelini.
No. 28
Yeah,
years
28 years ago,
the program started to die.
Eric Crouch.
No. Tom Osborne resigned
Right.
28 years ago.
And Frank Solich came in. He did not push us forward, and then we decided to go a completely different direction. It was the worst decision Nebraska ever made. Hired Callahan. Pelini was in the right direction, but Pelini couldn't keep his fucking shit together. Then we hired.
Mike
No,
Riley.
don't name him. Mr. Sprinkles should
He's
never.
like, he's like
Mr. Sprinkles should never be named. Absolutely,
Lord Voldemort.
Lord Voldemort.
And this,
He should never be named.
and this,
But that doesn't mean that we lose the blue blood. We
Lost it 20 years.
no, we did not.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
just,
you lost it.
just like a team
Yeah.
of Oregon doesn't become a blue blood. There's no way for them to become a blue blood because it's not open. It's not a club that we're taking new entries in. It's not a club that you
Jeff,
can get out of.
The day that Nike got in with Oregon, they become a blue blood.
I don't
Nike
like you.
Became
I
Oregon.
feel serious. You and I are having problems right now.
You consider Texas a blue blood?
No.
I don't either.
Absolutely not.
You consider Oklahoma blue blood?
Yes.
Yeah, they used to be 26 years
No,
ago.
there's-
They lost their blue blood.
Like I said, once you're in the club,
Everybody Switzer
you
resigned.
you can't get out of the club. And we ain't
Jeff.
taking new people in. You
Jeff,
got to create your own new club, your own club.
Brian wants to say something.
That's because he wants his own club. He wants a quack club.
this is exactly why I say Dallas Cowboy fans and Nebraska Cornhusker fans are the same people. They haven't been good in 25 years, but they
Oh,
still think they're
crap.
great. It's the same thing.
KU's never been a blue blood.
So I think they have. Back when Mark Mangino was their coach, they were becoming that way.
That don't make you a blue blood.
No.
And then Chino ain't the fucking offensive lineman if he didn't do it. He'll get you into the club.
I'm a Jayhawk fan, and I'm not even going to say KU was never a blue blood.
Wow, where are you on the doorstep?
Now, basketball.
Basketball.
Kansas and Kansas State literally played the toilet bowl. They were the worst two teams in the country for 10 years straight and played a game to see who the worst was. I'm just saying they played that game to see who the worst was.
Basketball.
What was that score? What was the score of that game? Do you remember?
Oh, 10-10 tie.
Bit top.
Yeah.
They couldn't even decide who the worst team was.
Yeah.
That's right.
Honestly, I got one more
Hey,
point. Got one more.
That's trivia? I mean, that's Kansas trivia.
Yeah.
One more
That
point.
was before my time. That game happened
Jeff.
in 62.
Hang on.
Right.
Jeff,
Yeah.
10 years. Okay. Jeff, I got a question for you. In the
What's
last
that?
10 years,
Yeah.
How many bowl games has Nebraska been in?
Wow, we had a bad stretch. What the fuck? It happens.
28 years.
Alabama, do you consider them a blue blood? Because they had a 15-year
Yeah.
period in the late 80s, all the way into the 2000s, where they never went to a bowl game either. But no one ever
But
threatened
they,
them with the blue blood status. But they're
but
out
they've
there,
had
obviously.
two of the best coaching standpoints ever. They've
What?
had two of the best decades. They've had two of the
We
best
had two.
coaches
We had
ever.
Bob Devaney, and then we had Tom Osborne, two of the best college coaches of all time. All time.
And then the blue blood was turned over. With
And
resignation from Osborne.
no, you don't turn the blue blood over. You're in.
No, that's not how it works.
When you join the military, you become a veteran
For life.
for life.
Yeah. We are blue bloods.
Yeah.
Hey,
And we're blue bloods for life.
Army still runs the triple option. Nebraska thinks it's outdated. Army runs a triple option. Navy runs a variation of Barry Switzer's
I'm
wishbone
sorry. It
offense.
was a 17
So
87.
don't tell me it doesn't work anymore.
Just
You
saying.
know, you
It
can,
was a lot later than I thought that was.
yeah, you can argue about blue bloods. Do I believe Alabama's a blue blood? I look back at what they did in the history of their program, and yes, they are a blue blood. Did they have a bad streak? Yes, they did.
But they got it back.
If you look at Nebraska from 1970s,
65.
and I'm gonna go late 60s,
Okay.
because that's when they really became a powerhouse. Won a couple national titles. From there to the late 90s, they were
2001.
They
we played
were
for our last one.
yeah, that was ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly, but we still played.
They did win 5 national titles. They're having a streak a little bit longer than what Alabama's was.
That's right.
Is-
We went 36-1.
Now, do you count Miami as a blue blood? They had some strings there in the 80s when Jimmy Johnson was coaching them. And in 01, they had probably arguably one, not the, one of the best teams to ever be put on a field. That
Talent-wise,
defense,
absolutely.
yes, that defense was freaking stacked.
They had people that were sitting on the bench that were going pro.
Right. And they had a guy in the early 90s sitting on the bench that became one of the best pro wrestlers ever. Now,
And
You
we
know,
abused him.
Florida State
We
is
abused
the
the
same way. Texas, you can go back in time to where Darrell K. Royal was coaching them. They were a blue blood. Oklahoma,
No, they were a blue blood, but they were definitely fighting to get into the conversation.
back in the 50s, 60s, they were one of the top teams.
Darrell Roy was there.
Yes.
But after that, when Barry Switzer and Tom Osborne took over, nobody was blue blood except for Oklahoma and Nebraska.
No,
Throw
no.
Michigan in there because they tied Nebraska.
No, you got to throw Michigan in there because they've won more games than anybody.
Ohio State's in.
Ohio State's
Penn
definitely a
State.
blue blood. Penn State's a blue blood.
USC.
Alabama, USC, not UCLA, USC though. But Alabama, Georgia, kind of blue blood. They come, they go, they come, they go, but they're always kind of in the mix. The blue blood thing is about longevity and when we.
That was lost. Nebraska. 28 years is too long.
it's
to stay
not.
no,
Like I
you
said,
cannot
once
call-
you're in the club, you can't get out.
maybe in volleyball and possibly softball, there are blue bloods there. Nebraska volleyball, Nebraska wrestling. Again, there's the blue bloods of Nebraska right now because it's embarrassing when I'm seeing on the football field. It's embarrassing.
It's hard for me
Embarrassing.
to believe that the kid that works with me at work, he's 27 years old, and we talk about things. And he goes, today we were talking about it. He goes, since I've been watching football, he goes, I'm a huge Nebraska fan. He goes, but I've never seen us relevant. I've never seen us
That's the problem. Is there's a whole generation right now
that have never
that they've never seen them good, but they
Right.
also haven't. They see us go to the games, They see that we travel, they see the gray hairs that we show up and everything, but they didn't see the love that we had for our team in the 80s. I mean, it wasn't just a football game.
Passion.
It was a
There's a
passion
passion.
because those were our kids. Those were our neighbors.
Jeff.
The majority of our team came from the 5-state area. You know, those were Midwesterners.
I
Right.
will say, when it comes to fans, there's nothing like Nebraska fans. Period. There's nothing like Nebraska fans anywhere. But as a guy that's on like that edge of seeing Nebraska good, I remember seeing Nebraska in '95. I remember seeing that. I was young, but I remember seeing it. I'm 36 years old. So I'm just saying, it's
Yeah,
been
you-
too long.
You're too young to feel the passion that was involved. You know,
I lived in Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas back when Tom Osborne was coaching.
I
I became a closet Nebraska fan back
Closet?
then. Yeah, but down there you didn't root for Nebraska.
bullshit.
You had to root
I
for
did.
Oklahoma.
I lived in Texas 15 years.
And I loved Nebraska football because of Tom Osborne. That's a blue blood era there.
Well, I was
Right
there
next
first, Brad. I
to
bounced around, and I didn't hide the fact of what I was anywhere I went. And that included Texas. I didn't have to at all, and you didn't have to either.
my dad
I mean,
protected
you listen to that shit on 93.7. You got guys on there that are talking Nebraska all day long, and they're not Nebraska fans. A couple of them. So you don't have to hide your fandom.
Hey.
Live false gods into your life. You are a sinner.
down there. I
You
was
are a sinner.
You know, I kind of audit because I was in Oklahoma territory, Texas territory, so you couldn't
Yeah,
really
you
open
could,
up about
yes,
Nebraska.
you
But I
can.
was a Nebraska fan back then because of Tom Osborne and because of the players they had here.
So you were a little man back then.
I was a KU fan, and we just waited for basketball season.
Yeah.
With that being said, fans, go on, hit that subscribe button, join us, send it to your friends. Join our bowl pool, our bowl pick'em. We've got a link on our site on Facebook. You can go there, click the link, you're automatically put in.
Well, it'll ask you to sign up for if you're not an ESPN member.
Yeah,
It's free. Sign up for it. Then it pops you right into the group.
I want to see how many people can beat Brian.
Can't happen. I dare you. Get on there and try to beat me. Try to beat me. I am Cook. Cook is rocking, okay? Not the rock is cooking. The cook is
Just
rocking.
so you know, I've been getting to know you over the last 3 weeks, and you don't scare nobody.
Now,
Bring it. Bring it.
we do have a little bit.
Damn.
Brian, you're gonna be out of this one. Do you want a revenge from last year's NCAA March Madness, you and Braden?
Yeah,
Okay,
Let's
I do.
that.
because you didn't hear about that. Braden
I
and
didn't.
Brian challenged me and Jeff in
I heard all about
NCAA March Madness. Brian, who won that again?
you guys did, but
Old
by
school.
you only. You
Oh.
only.
Wow.
Hey, we were a team.
We were a team.
We were a
won.
team, and I will say that. I may have been Mahomes, Kerry, and Kelsey, but we won.
That's right.
It was
Because the first 2 weeks I put up a lot of
Hold on.
points, pushed us over the edge.
Hold on. It was more like Mahomes carrying Colin Kaepernick. That's what it was.
Oh, ouch, ouch.
With that being said, we are so glad you chose to tune in with us here tonight. Again, we're trying to get to that 1,000 mark. We want to do something. If we get to that 1,000 mark, we're going to come up with something special for all of you. We're going to maybe put on a special show somewhere.
And the right way to help us do that is you go onto our Facebook page and you go up there to the people and it says invite all. Invite all your friends, not just ones you think that'll see them, because you never know who will get on and actually enjoy this. You know, I mean, we're trying to improve our programming as we go. There will be some people that come, and there might be some people that go because we're still vetting as we play. But
And you were making fun of, giving me a hard time for making fun of him.
You warned me.
I
I did.
I
I didn't see it. I should have asked more questions.
Well, Brian, have a great week. I hope. No, I don't hope your Eagles turn it around. Brian, Jeff, myself, we are so glad you all tuned in with us. We want to see you all back here next Wednesday again. Invite everybody, tell everybody about it. We would love to see our viewership go up. You know, we may not be right all the time, like Jeff in Ohio State last week, but the rest of us were with Indiana.
But you know what? We're not going nowhere either. We'll be here with our opinions next week.
We will be. Again, everybody, have a great week. We're so glad you joined us here tonight. You've been watching Tailgate Talk, and
We know
We
sports.
know sports.